Hello everyone, it's Owen from Motor Addicts. Today I've got something a little bit special for you. It's a Volkswagen Jetta. Yeah, if you're into older cars, you're into retro stuff, you've probably seen the Volkswagen Jetta around before, but have you seen a two-door? But the Volkswagen Jetta itself was introduced in 1979. It was introduced as a small family car. You could get the family and the kids in and go to work, school, and wherever else you had to go without having something huge like the BMW 5 Series. It was aimed squarely BMW 3 Series, it was aimed at the Vauxhall Cavalier at the time, Ford Orion, and the Mercedes 1.8, just to give you an idea of what the sort of target market Volkswagen were aiming for. Anyway, so I've ended up getting hold of a two-door Jetta, an engine swap two-door Jetta of all things, and there's like 15 Jettas in the country, but a two-door you're not going to get hold of. Anyway, so we've got this to do a bit of review on it. I'm going to come into more detail later on exactly what this guy's done to it, because it's not standard, although it looks like it's the case. We're in Colins Jetta here, the two-door one, and so everything I'm looking at is like factory. Right, steering wheel, yeah, that's factory, and the door cards, that's factory as well. It's got keep fit windows. Some people call them hand-drolic windows, but it really is like a base model Volkswagen Jetta CL. It was built for the guy to go to work in, I suppose. Everything is manual. There isn't anything automatic. Nothing is electric. You have to pull a lever up to slide the seats forward and backwards. You know, I mean, that's just like super basic stuff. It's got a 5-speed gearbox, but Colin has kept, in the modifications that he's done, he's kept hold of even the stock gear knob, which is only a 4-speed. You know, manual handbrake, all the rest of it. So this is like the most factory interior. We're going to show you some interior shots, and you'll see some pictures of the rest of the interior. It is super tidy, don't get me wrong, but it's very, very basic. There's not even a rev counter on the dashboard. So Volkswagen, in their advert...
You see this car? Well, there's a new family saloon that's wider inside.
What, than one of those?
Certainly. It's also got more rear legroom than...
Than one of those?
Than one of those.
There is no right steering.
No.
No, okay.
And it has a larger boot than...
Not than one of those.
Volkswagen Jettas are like big enough for even like Nick. Isn't that right, Nick?
Yeah.
They're huge inside. Anyway, I mean, that's pretty... We're talking about all the practicalities of the Volkswagen Jetta, but let's talk about this real crux of this. Let's talk about why this is interesting for you guys. So the really interesting bit about this car is the engine. Everyone's used the 1.8 engine. It's been in the Mark IV Golf. Everyone's put them in a Mark II Golf. They're even made their way into Mark I Golf somewhere. And the 1.8's made its way into this Volkswagen Jetta as well. So the whole point of Colin, the guy that built this, the whole point of him doing this was to have a car that he could use every day, that looked pretty straight, that was pretty different, but was powerful at the same time. This is an Audi A3 AGU engine, so it's not designed as a high-performance engine, but it's been mapped. It's got a few aftermarket bits on there. It's got a KO3S turbo, and it's a 5-speed transmission. It's out the gearbox and engine came out of the A3, so the gearbox was with it. It's a cable change gearbox with a single mass clutch, single mass flywheel and a clutch. To be honest, I understand why he's done it, and it's a little bit different, and it's still powerful. Look, a 235 horsepower car that weighs 1,100 kilos-ish is still going to be a fast car that you can enjoy day to day. Colin had it in his frame of mind. The idea, the whole premise of it was for it to look quite factory, so he's chosen aftermarket wheels to go on there. The aftermarket wheels are Ronald turbos, but they're in fitting with the era of the vehicle. It's a 1989 car, so the premise of it was to sort of fit and not look too out of place, which is why they're only 15-inch wheels, which is why he had the exhaust built to look like a factory exhaust. The exhaust tips, which we can show you later on in some of the photos, are designed to look like the Golf GTI or Jetta GTI exhaust, but to have the flow capacity of something that produces another 100 horsepower to what the Jetta GTI engine would have had that went in the first place. Aside from that, it's not massively modified. I mean, these 1.8 engines are capable of producing over 500 horsepower. In this case, it's designed to be reliable. So it's got a new timing belt. The engine's been rebuilt with JE pistons, 1 mil oversized. It's got an aftermarket intercooler in there to keep the intake temps down, an aftermarket air intake, and like I said, KO3S turbo. There are larger turbos on the market for the 1.8 engine, but in terms of day-to-day driving and response, the KO3S is well within its boundaries of safety, producing 230 horsepower, and it'll do that all day, every day, without any lag, and be drivable for day-to-day performance, basically. So we're going to take it for a drive now. Let's see what happens. Fucking old Volkswagen dogs. Safety first, ladies and gents. Right. So I'm driving the probably one of one, maybe. Volkswagen Jetta 1.8Ts. It's an AGU engine, as I mentioned about earlier. AGU engine. It was a 150 horse engine. It's had some modifications with the KF3S. There's a slightly larger bore in there, but now it's making about 235 horse, which is great fun. Day-to-day stuff, brilliant, love it. One thing, it's got gas coilovers on it. And one thing that we have noticed is that the suspension is super firm. Like it's quite firm. Great for track use if you can use it on the track. Day to day, I mean it's bearable. Don't get me wrong.
Oh my god. Oh. Keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all times.
Couple of other bits. The guy who built this has given me a bit of a list, right? And to be fair, he should be really proud of himself because he's managed to make this car sound like a factory car. And apart from the firmness of the suspension, pretty much drive like a factory car as well. Vagtronics in Stoke-on-Trent. There's a few companies I'm going to name. If anyone else wants to build a car doing a similar sort of thing, Vagtronics in Stoke-on-Trent did the wiring loom, which you send them your wiring loom, as I understand it. You tell them what engine you've got or what engine you're putting into it, and they adapt it to suit, so you just plug it in. If you've ever carried out an engine swap in your life, you'll know what a pain in the arse it is to wire it up, and to do it neatly as well. It's super hard. So send them your wiring loom if it's a Volkswagen car. Send them the wiring loom, and they send it back to you, plug it in, done. No problems. Yeah. Now that suspension is quite firm, but the gearbox is doing a lot of work trying to hold the tyres to the floor. My GoPro on the wing is having a little party trying to hold on there with the suspension. So the exhaust, Cole was super hot on making sure the exhaust looked factory. So Powerflow in Ashford, I've sent cars over there from my shop, Kent Carcraft. And you can give them your exact dimensions, you know, how you want it to look, how you want it to sound, and they'll build it to that spec. Oh, mate. And the GoPro's still there. Oh, there's my van. Would you look at it? She's a cutie. Look at that good-looking chap in the van there. Oh, he's lovely, isn't he? I can see how Cole built this car. I can see why he built this car. He's done a great job. And if you want to know how he got it or where he got the bits from, just contact us, drop a comment below, and we can provide all the links. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe our videos. We've got loads more great content for you guys. There we have it. What are you doing with this one? What a pile of shite, mine was. Oh, this one's about 260 horsepower. You're fucking joking. No, it's quite fast, isn't it? Fucking hell. Fucking hell. I bet it's got disc brakes. He was in there, all up in the... Disc brakes in there. Oh, I wanted it. He had a carburettor on it, and it was crap. And I was saying, yeah, everyone took the Peerberg and they junked it. Yeah, the company was good enough to buy us a new carburettor, and it was still shite.